What is up, guys? Welcome back, or welcome to Running for Views. Today we're going to be talking about a 100K run training plan for beginners. But before we get into that, did you know that 80% of you aren't subscribed? Subscribe now, or I'll call up your race director and tell them to make the course 10 kilometers longer. You want to run 110 kilometers? Just kidding. Please subscribe. Thank you. So a few months ago, I released the 100K ultramarathon training plan, and a lot of people were saying that it was either too time-consuming or too difficult, too much mileage. So today I'm coming at you with a beginner 100 kilometer racing training plan. So what makes this training plan different from the original training plan is that I just cut mileage by about 30% while still building up to a 100 kilometer week or 62 miles. I would recommend this training plan for people who are running their first 100 kilometer race or people who are running a mostly flat 100 kilometer race. So this means below about 10,000 feet of vert. So this plan is meant to just train you as well as possible with low volume and still getting you to that finish line. As always, this training plan is brought to us by the Running Bible, Training for the Uphill Athlete. Co-written by the little goat himself, Kilian Huge Jornet. You ever heard of him? Buy the book. If you haven't bought this book, are you even a true ultra runner? Just freaking buy the book already. Link in description. Oh, and while you're down in the description buying the book, make sure to open that 100K training plan so you can follow along as we go. So without further ado, let's get into the training plan. Woo! Starting off, we got weeks 1 through 4. So the first 3 weeks are intensity weeks. So we're starting this training plan off hot. So I would recommend following the aerobic base training plan that I released a few months ago as well before hopping into this plan. It'll get your aerobic base really strong, really built up and ready for this training plan. All right, so starting off on week 1 on Monday, we have an aerobic day, which means that you're going to be running at zone 2 for the duration of your run. Tuesday is an interval day, which means you're going to be doing 2 to 4 by 10-minute intervals at zone 3. And you're going to be taking a 2-minute recovery jog between reps. And then if you have any additional miles for that day, you could do those in warm-up and cool down. Then Wednesday, we have a recovery day, which means we're going to be doing low zone 2 to zone 1 training. Thursday, we have hill bounding. So I did a whole video about that I'll link up in the corner so you can go check that out. But I'll just explain it briefly here so you understand the gist of it. So you're going to start off with a warm-up, and then you're going to want to find a 30% incline. So you're going to be doing 2 by 30-second hill repeats with a 2-minute rest between reps. Then you'll do 2 by 20-second hill skippings. So you're going to be skipping up the mountain and taking a 2-minute rest between reps. Then you're going to be doing 8 by 10-second maximum power bounding uphill with a 2-minute rest between reps. And if you have more mileage that you need to get done that day, you could get it done in warm-up and cool down. Then on Friday, we have another aerobic day, so running in zone 2. And then on Saturday, we have a long run of 15 miles. So this means that you're going to be doing 40 to 80% of your weekly mileage on this day, as well as your vert for the week. So 40 to 80% of your weekly vert on this one run. Then after that, you have a rest day, and then we're going to repeat this for the next 2 weeks. So for elevation for these weeks, try to be getting at least 30% of your race's total elevation gain. So this means if you're doing a race that has 10,000 feet of vert, you're going to be doing 3,000 feet of vert on these intensity weeks. And then 40 to 80% of that vert will be done on your long run. Then on week 4, we have a recovery week, which means we're just going to be cutting mileage in half and taking days off if needed. It also means that you're going to be cutting your vert in half, so that means that you're going to be doing 15% of your races vert on these weeks, with 40% of the vert still on your long run on the recovery week. So next up, we got a big chunk of weeks from weeks 5 through 12. So we're starting off with a specificity week, which means that we're going to be training specifically for your race on these weeks. So this means trying to train on similar terrain as your races, as well as, dun dun dun, back-to-back long runs. So on Monday, we're going to be doing an aerobic day, followed by specificity intervals. So the difference between specificity intervals and normal intervals is just that you're going to be upping the zone to zone 4 instead of zone 3. Then after that, we're going to have a recovery day, followed by another aerobic day. And then we have a 16-mile back-to-back long run. So like I said, that's why it's important that you're training hard before starting this training plan, because this training plan is pretty intensive, even though it is for beginners. So for these back-to-back long runs, you're gonna wanna do 40 to 80% of your weekly vert and mileage on these days. So I usually do about 70% of your weekly mileage on just these 2 days. But like I said, you could go all the way down to 40 if you're more comfortable doing that. And you'll also want to do an equal percentage of vert on these days. So for specificity weeks, you're going to want to do 50% of your races vert on these weeks. And then like I said, about 70% of that vert done on your back-to-back long runs. So spread across the both days of those long runs. Then skipping down to week 8, you can see we still have a specificity week, but just one long run is going to be done on this week. And that is because on this day, you can choose whether or not you want to do a B race of 50 kilometers. So if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know that I am anti-B races, anti-tune-up races. They don't work for me. They make me tired come my goal race, and I would not recommend them unless you are really wanting to do them or I don't know, trying to get injured. But yeah, if they do work for you, then go ahead and do this B race. So for me, they leave me exhausted, overworked, and I have to take weeks off afterwards to recover. And yeah, my muscles are just destroyed after any races, and so I do not do them. But whether or not you're doing a B race on this day, you are going to be running 50 kilometers on this day. So make sure whether you're racing or not, zone 2, stay in zone 2 and just take it easy. Make sure you bring plenty of food, liquids, gels, everything that you'll need. Just try to simulate your A race as much as possible without overexerting yourself. Then we're going to be topping out this training plan at a 100-kilometer week on week 12. So you're going to be doing 20-mile back-to-back long runs on this week, so good luck. Then we have weeks 13 through 15, which are taper weeks. So this means we're going to start cutting mileage and just focusing on getting prepared for our race. We're still going to be doing an interval day on Tuesday just to keep the legs sharp and ready to race. And then you'll have a long run on the weekend. During these weeks, you could take days off as needed, you could cross-train, just do whatever it takes to feel good and ready for your race. So you're going to be doing 15% of your race's elevation for these weeks, and you're going to be doing 40% of that 15% on your long runs. Then you know what time it is, race week, baby. So as you can see on Monday, we have 30-second intervals. So for these 30-second intervals, you're gonna be doing 4 by 30-second intervals at zone 3 pace with a 3-minute jog between reps. So these intervals are just little stimuli to keep your legs fresh, keep the turnover quick, so you are ready to race. Then on the weekend, you have your 100-kilometer race and you are going to crush it, guaranteed. if you followed this training plan. But guys, that wraps things up for today. If you have any questions, make sure to leave those in the comments below and I will answer those there. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. And if you liked the video, smash that like button because one like equals one guaranteed 100K finish.